Is it me, or is it that people just are too frightened to be themselves? Because when I look around the world, I see that people look like they're walking around as if they're robots. They're in a sort of trance. They're automata. They don't seem to be awake at all. And perhaps it's arrogant of me to say this, but I wonder sometimes if I'm the only one that's ever awake. You look at people and they're living on automatic pilot. Now, there's a reason we have automatic pilot. You know, if we didn't have it, we couldn't breathe, because things like our breath, things like our body functions, our heart, they're all working on that unconscious level. It's automatic. We don't have to think about it. If we had to think about everything we had to do in the body, we had to think every time our heart beat or every time we took a breath, we'd go bonkers. All our attention would be on that. So our bodies are working on automatic pilot. But the problem is, people think on automatic too. It's like their whole function is on automatic. For example, supposing, you know, when you're driving the car, you don't think about it, you just do it. You drive it automatically. And if you go swimming, you don't forget it, you drive automatic. And if you're one of those annoying cyclist people, you do it automatically. You don't have to think about what you're doing. So, but the problem is, it goes into all aspects of life because you think automatically. And automatic thinking can be a very dodgy thing, particularly when you're tired. It's a cause of depression. You get depressed, you feel tired. You feel tired, you get depressed. You get depressed, you feel tired, and it goes round and round and round in a circle like this, because the mind is responding automatically. It's responding to the tiredness, it gets depressed and so forth. And if you think about it, most of the functions in our brain are running automatically. When you're at work, most of the time it's automatic. When you're watching the television, you're kind of only half there. The problem is, we're not awake, are we? We're just all walking through this world asleep. There was a really good philosopher called Gurdjieff who recognised this and talked a lot about the idea that people were in a somnambulist state, that they were running on this autopilot. And he used to say, how can we break this? How do I break people out of this constant blinkered way of seeing the world, this constant limitation of thinking? In fact, people take great comfort, don't they, in doing everything in the same routines. They take comfort in routines. I think that's absolutely bonkers. Routines can be useful, but they hide in them, you know. So this guy Gurdjieff said, how can I break it? And one of the things he did, which I thought was brilliant, he did all sorts of workshops on it, but one that I thought was good is he put people in almost bizarre positions. At a centre he had in Fontainebleau, they had big lawns there. And he had people mow the lawns, but not just mow the lawns. They had to mow the lawns at breakneck speed. You know, you can imagine these people pushing these old-fashioned lawnmowers at high speed running across the grass, you know. And the idea that this surreal type of experience, and this exhausting experience too, because exhaustion can sometimes push you into another mode of thinking, like a second wind, but it also kind of works mentally as well, that this unusualness of behaviour would often break people from the routines of their thinking. And lots of people routinely think, don't they? They're stuck in their ways, you know. Scientists can be some of the worst. It can only be done this way. Religious people, just as bad. They think in these blinkered ways. Nobody dares think outside the box. Nobody dares to be different. Nobody dares to think unusually. And the problem is, you see, when we get into this automated thinking, it's a bit like, they described it like a reducing valve. It's like the camera's aperture. It closes down and we only see the world through a sort of a small little chink, you know, but our perceptions are all closed down. But if we open these doors of perceptions, we can see the world massively. It becomes completely different. We see it really as it is, because we're seeing it without the reduction of that automatic mind that is constantly clamping everything down, constantly turning everything we see in the world into snapshots. You know, we're seeing a snapshot of reality all the time. We never see the whole thing, only sort of bits of it. You know, if you watch your attention, you watch the way you think, you'll see that you're missing stuff all the time. because it's like it's a reduction all the time. It's like the brain functions on this automatic level. You know, here's a little bit for you to look at, but you know, the brain carries on automatically. That's not the way a human being should be, I don't think. I think we should be fully awake human beings. I think this is part of the evolution of consciousness, because you know, when we're in the animal state, we're in full automatic mode. You know, an animal is fully automatic. They're thinking from one perception to the next. You know, you could say the same thing about someone in the pub. You know, they're thinking very simply or based on the next thing. You know, some people have conversations with you that are just automatic. You know, they're just talking about, oh, lovely day today, isn't it? Yeah. You know, well, there's no real connection with the human being there. So it's everywhere. This automatic clampdown on our consciousness. And I think it's important to recognise it, first of all, because if we can recognise it, we can spot it in ourselves. We can think, hey, just a minute, we're just getting like the rest of them. We're just walking around like a scene from Metropolis. You know, we're completely clamped into this automatic way of living. So we've got to break it. And I think we break it always by trying to think differently, trying to be different, accepting that we are different from other people, that you have to be a bit different from other people if you want to awaken. You can't just keep fitting into that same comfortable mode. We've got to challenge our reality. We've got to be a bit scared sometimes, almost a bit paranoid, in order to break that mold. You know, break that routine of thinking that holds you back so much from the incredible potential that we all have. You can do it in meditation, actually, because what you do there is, and particularly when you're starting in meditation, you can use mantras. You know, you get that automatic mind to do something. You say, hey, automatic mind, you're going to just repeat this mantra. Go and repeat this mantra. Go and repeat it forever and ever and ever. Right? So the brain's repeating the mantra, and while it's doing that, you can get on with the act of becoming and the act of being and the act of awakening, you know, because you get trapped in that automatic mind. So recognize it, become aware that sometimes you're not really always being you. You've got to sometimes dare to be different, dare to be the real person you really are, and dare to look at the world and think it's not quite what you think it is. You know, it's not a snapshot. There's a lot more out there than you think. The whole of existence is there for us if we can switch off that automatic mind and look at the world with clear eyes. See it as its purity. See the absolute beauty of this existence without all that silly automation that the whole world plays into. Everything is trying to push you back all the time into that automatic state. The dull way people think, the drool that comes out of the TV set, the rubbish that you see on adverts and the rest. It's all trying to draw you into this limited, automated thinking of trying to get you to become just like everyone else. So I say, dare to be different, dare to be yourself, dare to awaken. So if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to follow them every week. Follow the channel by clicking that little bell thing at the bottom of the page, and then you can be annoyed every time I come online. And if you've been enjoying this and you've got some comments about it, put your comments below, because I'm sure not everybody agrees with what I have to say.